institution for accepting wholeheartedly to conduct this 79th International Virtual Learning Series with the blessing of Almighty, our founder Kalvi Valla Devath Kalasalingam Ayya, and with the support of our chairman Ilay Vallal, Dr. S. Sridharan, K. Sridharan sir, for the 79th International Virtual Learning Series in association with the Indian Pharmaceutical Association, South Tamil Nadu local branch, head office at Arulvig Consulting College of Pharmacy. Andu sir, can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Today we are proud to have an eminent personality, notorious researcher, veteran teacher, and honorable resource person, scientist Dr. V. Raja Solomon, University of Saskatchewan, Canada, to grace this occasion. So we thank you for kindly being the valuable part of this session. Let me acquaint you with the sterling quality of this eminent personality, who is a brilliant researcher and well-known administrator. Sir, your prestigious presence is a great honor for us and great motivation and inspiration for our entire student community. Sir, we are fully appreciate you for finding the time to be with us in spite of your busy schedule, sir. Most welcome, Dr. V. Solomon, Raja Solomon, sir. Most welcome you, sir.
Yeah, you are welcome, sir.
Finally, I welcome all the professor, faculty members, and my dear enthusiastic students for today's session. So today, I hope this session will be a good platform for our students. Dear students, kindly grab and utilize this great opportunity. This is the first and foremost needed for your career. All the very best, my dear students. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Solomon, sir. Raja Solomon, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Please, you can proceed, sir. Please, you can
Yes,
proceed.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank AKCB Managing Board and Principal Sir Professor N. Venkatesan and Professor Anburaj for the kind invitation. It's my honor to be here on the virtual platform. I highly appreciate the AKCB management and principals are organizing the virtual meeting and encouraging students for the motivation. Today, I'm going to talk about the protection and purification of radiometal zirconium 89 and development of zirconium 89 labeled nimetuzumab for the potential clinical translation as an anti-EGFR immunospect agent. My talk is development of novel radiopharmaceuticals for nuclear medicine, especially for the diagnostic probe. For the talk, I will cover the following topics. Briefly, I will give some introduction about this is a very not well-known research area. That's why I will give some brief introduction and technical terms. Also, I will briefly describe about the production and purification of the radiometal and and give some specific activity determination how we calculate the purity of the produced radiometal. And I will talk about some radio labeling with the nimetuzumab and some in vitro characterization as well as some in vivo studies. At end I will summarize, and we have some research opportunity in back in our lab and back in our university. I will discuss some of those as well. What is nuclear medicine? Nuclear medicine is a specialized area of radiobiology that use very small amount of radioactive material or radiopharmaceutical to examine organ function and structure. What is radio labeled molecule mean? The radio labeled molecule is called radiopharmaceutical. This is the essential component in the nuclear medicine research and studies. Radio, like as I said, this is radio labeled molecule. The radio labeled molecule is labeled with some organics or some macromolecules. We use often the radio metals or radio isotopes. As all we know, same chemical behavior. as all we know, radio metal or radioisotope decay at a constant rate, that is called half-life. During this process, it emits the particles or electromagnetic radiation. This radiation can be utilized for the imaging and therapy studies. What is molecular imaging? Molecular imaging is a new discipline which helps to determine the molecular signatures at cellular and subcellular level by visualization. Like we can see clearly by naked eyes. That is the beauty of the molecular imaging. And this technique mainly used for the diagnosis of cancer and neurological disorder as well as cardiovascular disorders. There are several imaging modalities available in the clinical like CT, MRI, ultrasound, X-ray. Among that, SPECT, it's called single photon computed tomography or positron emission tomography. Like this tracer development is plays very key role in the this molecular imaging field. There are complementary development of the tracer is already in the clinical, but it's required wide more development. That's why we started working on this research area. What is PET and what is SPECT? Like as I said, it's single photon emission computed tomography. Like it has every radioisotope has some gamma energy. Single photon means it emits the single photon and it can be detected and it measured and it like it processed and we can view the images. Like PET is positron emission tomography. Like in the positron emission tomography, the radioisotopes or radiopharmaceuticals emit the positron particles. Once the positron particles emit, it interacts with the electron and simultaneously it produces two gamma photons at energy of 511 kilo electron volt. This is measured and it gives the organ function and organ structure. When we process the image, collected the data into the images. Like in this process, we usually inject very low amount or instead, like we can say nanomolar to picomolar concentration amount of activity. It doesn't have any pharmacological effect on the body. Most of the case we use as a simple metals or metal complex. Most of the case we use as a conjugate with the radiometals into biomolecule. That's why we can make a target specific. That biomolecules act as a carrier. It takes the radioisotopes into particular target. In that case, it minimizes the unwanted radiation to the other parts of the body. Like each radiometals or radiopharmaceuticals in the body and measure individually. Like as I said, each proton have unique energy level. That's why we can measure three different radioisotopes or three different radiopharmaceutical. Like most of the studies, they focus on the PET because PET is we can get the very good resolution of the figure as well as higher sensitivity. Like it will, whatever the activity we inject the human body or animal body, we can accurately measure the how much activities uptaken by the particular organ or tissue. That is the most of the case. The PET is more interested for the researcher, like as for radiochemist and nuclear medicine people. This slide highlights the importance of the zirconium-89 labeled monoclonal antibody studies. Like this is the cancer patient. When they did the CT scan, they couldn't identify the adrenal lesion. This patient is suffered by adrenal lesion, like his initial stage, like stage 0. When they cannot identify what kind of cancer he was suffering. That's why they went for the another tracer like called fluorine 18 FDG. Like it is called fluorine 18 radioisotopes. It's labeled with fluorodeoxyglucose. When we inject these radioisotopes or radiopharmaceutical to the human body, there because of the glucose uptake, it always goes to the brain and it excretes to the kidney. But again, this classical this is a non-specific tracer. It's not a specific one. It's non-specific tracer. It's again failed to detect the cancer in the patient. Like when they labeled with zirconium 89 with monoclonal antibody, they able to find the cancer in the patient. It's, you can see this this picture. It's very you can see by naked eyes. Yes, this person has suffering by adrenal tumor. That's the interest. We plan to do work with the zirconium 89, and we want, and that's why we developed a method for the production. Again, we can use a these radiopharmaceuticals can be used as a therapy purpose also. For the therapy, it may have different kind of radioisotopes we use, especially this isotope, like this radiopharmaceutical emit alpha particle or beta particle or agar electron. Each isotope has its own specific nature. Like alpha emitting isotopes, actinium 225, bismuth 213, astatine 21111, radium 223. It emit alpha particle. It travels the body inside the body with micromillimeter range with 800 kilo electron. Once this when we injected this radiopharmaceutical into the body, it clearly reached the target and caused the damage to the cancer cell only, because we are radio labeling these radioisotopes in biomolecules. These biomolecules act as a carrier and deliver the radioisotopes on the target site or desired area. When the actinium labeled molecule reaches the DNA, it causes intense damage. Once the intense damage is happened, this molecule cannot be repairable. Like all the cancer cell will die. Again, this is the direct way of mode of mechanism of action. Indirect way, the radiation causes radiolysis of water. During radiolysis of water, it creates the free reactive oxygen species. It's called reactive oxygen species. That also by the way, it kills the tumors on specific and reduce the cytotoxic effect to the normal cells. It only kills the cancer cells. It doesn't affect the normal cells or normal body. This is the classical example I would like to discuss here. Like this is the stage 4 patient. Like when they this patient did some PET tracer imaging with the help of gallium-68 PSMA. PSMA is nothing but it's a protostat antigen small peptide molecule. This peptide is around 3 to 5 amino acid small peptide. It was labeled with the actinium 225. This is stage 4 patient. He may die without any treatment. He may die within 6 to 1 year. But after, like, see the beauty of this treatment, like when the patient is treated with the actinium 225 with the small peptide molecule, after 3 dose treatment, the patient completely relapsed, like completely cured. There is no tumors on his body. Like in this picture, you can see wherever you see the dark spot, apart from the kidney area, these are the metastatic cancer. After 3 doses of treatment, he was completely cured. The survival rate of this person is increased 8 to 10 years. Like when we measure the protostat serum level, the serum level should be less than 1. That's why after 3 dose treatment, he was above the normal. That's why they treated with 1 more dose. He completely recovered. The serum level also comes under the normal level. This is the beauty of these radioisotopes and beauty of the nuclear medicine. As I said several times, what the biomolecules? The biomolecules can be small molecules. It may be organic, it may be heterocyclic, or it may be peptide, it may be monoclonal antibodies or monoclonal fragments. It acts as a vehicle, carry the radionuclide radioisotope to the target disease. again, if you want to label these biomolecules with the radioisotopes, it should be stable. The biomolecule should be stable, or also it should has decent half-life. That's why when we inject this tracer into human body, it should be some half-life. That's why it match half-life of radioisotopes. That's why we can get the maximum benefit from the radioisotope point of view. During radio labeling, the property of this molecule is never affected. It can be happen very rare if molecular weight is less than 1000 range. Like most of the time I said biomolecules mean antibody. Antibody is nothing but all we studied in biochemistry. Antibody is a immunoglobulin. It's called IgG. In human body we have 5 type of IgG, like IgG A, E, G, I and G. I think 5 class we have. Once the human is suffered by any pathogen, our body itself produces as I said, this is radioisotopes. If you get 1 gigabecquerel activity, we will get 1/4 amount of activity only for the study. Like if we cannot complete the full study on the as we plan. That's why we plan to produce these isotopes in our lab. Again, the zirconium-89 labeled antibodies for PET imaging, there are 78 clinical aid trials is completed. Among them, 74 studies they used monoclonal antibodies for the labeling purpose. Out of that, 29 studies is completed. Most of the studies move forward to the base 2 studies and base 3 studies. 23 clearly indicate the importance of zirconium-89. This is the cyclotron facility. Like this is the cyclotron. This is we have it in our university campus. This is 24 milli-electron volt apparatus. Like there are 3 different cyclotron is available. Like it depends upon the milli-electron volt. Because this is the highest version, like super duper good one. Like with the help of this one, we can use a 3 different target. Like we can use a liquid target, we can use a solid, we can use a gaseous target to produce the radioisotopes. If the energy level is less, we can use only gas or liquid. We cannot use a solid. This is the like we can use we can multi-purpose use. This is the cyclotron. Cyclotron is nothing but it's a particle accelerator. Like when we want to irradiate any coin, or if we want to do any beaming, we circulate the protons or neutrons on the electromagnetic field. It accelerates the particle and get the more energy. Once the higher energy particle reach on here on the edges of the cyclotron where we kept the target, the proton energy reach the target and hit, and it produces energy and it converts to the ordinary metal into the radioisotopes. Like for these studies, we plan to produce a zirconium-89 from yttrium-89 by proton-neutron reaction. Like this is the normal, like if you want to produce any radioisotope, it should be a like super metal. Like in that case, it shouldn't have any other metal impurity. Like high metal metal only we will use for this production of this radioisotope. Like for that purpose, this is the example of solid target. Like this is a coin. This coin we cover with the yttrium foil. Once the yttrium foil is filled up this coin, we cover up this coin and put it into this casket with the help of aluminum degraded. We put the casket into the target. This target goes to over here on the cyclotron. That's why when the particle reach higher energy, it hit on this it hit on this coin, and we can get the radioisotopes from this coin. Like for when we like this is the, like I said, during irradiation we used to irradiate for 2 hours with a proton energy of 17.8 milli-electron volt. That is roughly equivalent about of 40 microampere current for 2 hours. After like during this process, we will cool inlet by water, and another side we will cool by helium gas. That's why we prevent the loss of energy. Like we have to hit the coin with constant energy. Like if energy is lost in somewhere, it may produce some bi-isotopes. It makes very critical in the purification process. That's why we are cooling this coin. Like we are cooling during irradiation process with the liquid nitrogen, liquid helium as well as water. After irradiation, we leave the coin for 2 to 3 hours. During this process, some bi-isotopes will form. That is called zirconium-89. This half-life is around 5 minutes, like 4.16 minutes. Like after 2 to 3 hours, whatever the biisotopes is formed, it's decay. Decay means after few hours, we may not able to see this zirconium 89. Like after the irradiation, we take the coins to the further processing purpose. Like this is a simple uh, acid and aqueous phase was we able to get the pure radio metal. Like the irradiated coin we take over here and dissolve in 2 molar hydrochloric acid. After dissolving, we will take this radio isotopes for the purification into the resin. We wash with 2 millimolar hydrochloric acid. After 2 millimolar hydrochloric acid, we wash with 10 ml of water. After that, we elute with 1 molar oxalic acid. It forms zirconium oxalate. The zirconium oxalate is used for the animal and clinical studies purpose. As I said, this is the radioisotopes. For handling this radio material, you have to be a nuclear energy worker. The whole unit we kept it in the lead sealed fume. This is the lead sealed fume. We do when we do the small scale, like less than 50 megabecquerel scale, we can do it behind the lead block, and we can do it by manual. If you want to do fully, like in bigger scale, if you want to produce gigabecquerel activity, like when you irradiate one coin with 2-hour irradiation, we can get around more than 10 gigabecquerel. Like 10 gigabecquerel is 10,000 megabecquerel of activity. This is too much activity to handle bare hand, because we are not able to tolerate that much dose. This is the lead sealed instrument, lead sealed fume. It protect the unwanted radiation, and we can do the automation inside this fume. This for the automation, there are we developed some computer based program and did the purification. This is the gamma spectrum for the purified the radio, like zirconium 89. When we did the after irradiation, we did the crude gamma spec. We able to see several byproduct, like other than zirconium 88M, we able to see magnesium 58, like 52, cobalt and vanadium. These are purified when we do the purification. The gamma spec, how does the gamma spec work? As I said, every radioisotope has its own energy, like own kilowatt electron volt energy. Based on that, it predicts the energy, and it automatically gives the value for the radioisotopes. Like once the like as I said, we able to as per this gamma spectrum, we say the purified radioisotope is more than 98% pure. In order to further confirm that purity, we did the specific activity determination. Specific activity determination is nothing but activity present in a given sample. Like if I give 100 microgram of activity, how much activity present on those sample, it's that calculation is called activity. Like activity is the number of integration per minute. Like when we, for that purpose, we did some small labeling studies with known 5-functional Cleator labeling studies. When it's like we did 2 types, like this is a ITLC, we did with the radio HPLC estimation as well. Like when we spot this radioisotopes and elute with some buffer system, when it's free, it reaches on the top. When it's labeled, it sticks on the bottom. This is the with the help of this radio detector, we can clearly differentiate immediately. Like this is the instant, that's why we called the ITLC, that is called instant TLC. We no need to elute or no need to put iodine vapor or no need to spray any reagent. With the help of this detector, we can easily determine. This is a HPLC version chromatogram. Like once it's labeled, we will be able with the nature of your peptide or nature of your protein, it gives a retention time. If it's unlabeled molecules is there, we able to see above or around 18 minutes retention time. As per this HPLC chromatogram, this is no unlabeled materials is there. It's 100% labeled. Like during these labeling studies, we did the different molar concentration from highest to lowest, and that's why we able to get the sigmoidal plot curve. Based on IC50 calculation, we found out that specific activity amount, like this is the specific activity present on micromolar amount of this activity of this sample. Like activity per quantity, like specific activities, activity per quantity of radionuclides. Like again, we confirm the purity by ICP-MS studies. This is ICP-MS is nothing but inductively coupled plasma mass spec analysis. This with the help of, like, as we know, mass spec, it gives the molecular weight of the molecule, but this is the mass spec. It gives the molecular weight of all the elemental analysis in the periodic table. This is the specific kind of mass spec analysis. We can evaluate all the metal concentration. If you put any metal solution, it gives how much percentage is like how much parts per million is present in the sample. As per our requirement, because this is the zirconium-89 sample, we like to see zirconium-89, like zirconium concentration will be high. All other metal concentrations should be less than 1%, 1 parts per million. This clearly indicates that our purified sample has high purity of the radioactivity. This research work we recently published in Molecules. The Molecules is impact factor of around 3.5. Based on this, like we further studies that we plan to use this radio isotope for the preclinical and clinical studies. For these studies, we chosen our target as a epidermal growth factor receptor. Why we have chosen this receptor as a target? Overexpression of this target is associated with the rapid progression and poor prognosis, as well as poor responsible to the cancer therapy. Like when the patient is EGFR express positive, that person is slowly, like if you treat with any other agent, they may not get recovery. Like if you treat anti-EGFR, they may get the, like this is the, like we can say personalized treatment. Like instead of giving normal chemotherapy and irradiation, if you know the person is what kind of cancer the person is have, for the purpose we designed the radiopharmaceuticals, and we are developing on the personalized medicine point of view. Like as we know, there are 1 million cases EGFR positive cancer is reported in everywhere in the world. That's why we have selected this target. Like if you want to know the EGF1R level in the cancer patient, there are some classical techniques available, that is like immunohistocytochemistry and some fluorescent assay and qPCR. Like this is the instrument they are most commonly used in current clinical purpose, but this is not like it doesn't give the real scenario of our body condition. Like because for this we have to collect the sample by biopsy. If you do if person is suffered by any metastatic cancer, the tumor is spread all over the body. If you do the biopsy on the particular area, it gives the indication only the particular site. We cannot measure the real-time effect. In order to make the real-time effect, this tracer will give the real-time effect. Where are the tumors is located and how the tumors is expressed with this receptor. Like in the clinical, it's already one tracer is available that is called zirconium-89 labeled cetuximab, but it suffered with the toxicity. Like this antibody has seen like it has a vast side effect on the skin. Like when the patient is treated with the tracer, they will get the reaction, like hypersensitive reaction 1. They may get unwanted effect from this tracer. That's why we decided to use another monoclonal antibody. It's called nimotuzumab. This is also anti-EGFR monoclonal antibody on the same class, but it's fully humanized. it has very low skin toxicity. Again, when we did the IR imaging studies, we able to found that this tracer able to stay in the body more than 10 to 12 days. Like it's good indication that if you want to make a tracer of this antibody, we can image the patient instead of on the same day. We can take the PET scan whenever you want on the 12 times gap, like 12 times interval. Like if you inject the day 0, you can take a scan as per your convenience on day 5 or day 12 or day 7. Like if you use instead of if you use non-specific tracer like FDG, like fluorine 18 FDG, that is has half-life of only 60 minutes. Like if you person is injected with the 18F FDG, we have to inject at time 0. We have to take scan at 2 hours. If you miss the 2 hour time point, we cannot get any data from that. Again, it doesn't give what kind of cancer the patient is suffering from. That's why we want to develop the tracer with the zirconium-89 labeled with the niumotuximab for imaging EGFR or positive patient. For the first step of this project, we first labeled this antibody with some bifunctional chelators called dexferoxamine isothiocyanate. This is called the NCS functional group. It reacts with this amine functional group and forms the stable thiourea. For this reaction, I took 1 fold of this antibody and 1 molar. We took 10 fold or 10 molar SS of this bifunctional antibody. That's why we can attach 1 or 2 DFO molecule. That is 1 to 2 DFO molecules is compulsory to have the good radio labeling condition. That's why we took 10-fold SS. After this step, like this is the base condition, I incubated this sample for 1 hour and purified by centrifugal filters. Because this harsh condition, because we are incubating at sodium bicarbonate for 1 hour. This is the protein. Like protein is able to degenerate in a high acid and high base condition. In order to check this purity of the labeled conjugate, we do a lot of QC studies, like to check the protein integrity and protein stability, and also after attaching this DFO molecule, does it affect the binding property of this molecule or not? To check, we did several QC studies. First, we did the HPLC studies and did the stability studies. We find out that this molecule can be stored at a room temperature for 5 months. If you store for this 5 months, only 4% degradation is observed on the HPLC. When we store in the minus 80 degrees Celsius, we didn't see any degradation or any protein segregation. This is the first study we did with the actor. This is a binding studies, like using the principle of UV spectrophotometry. Like this is the unconjugated protein sample. We found out the KD value. This is 23 plus or minus 3 nanomolar concentration. But when we tested the same thing with the DFO conjugated sample, it's the KD value is a little bit increased, but it doesn't change significantly. That's why this is a acceptable range, we can say. That's why we did the further studies on the cancer cell model. This is the cancer cell we used for this study. This is expressing the target. Like this is the cells. This is the cancer cell express the EGFR. When we find out the KD value, the unconjugated sample show KD value of 13. But conjugated sample shown 17. It's good indication that they doesn't change the binding affinity or binding behavior of this protein sample. That's why we decided to do the radio labeling. For the radio labeling condition, first for the optimization of radio labeling condition, we played with the several conditions, like we played with the pH, we played with the temperature, we played with the incubation time. Like we found out that pH 6.8 to 7.2 is favorable. And again, pH is 6.8 to 7, like 1 hour incubation, and 37 degrees Celsius is favorable for the radio labeling condition. Again, we are handling the radioisotopes over here. That's why we do most of the handling the lead sealed fumed area. This is lead sealed, and this is like around 5-inch thickness of the lead is coated all over here, kept the lead blocks. That's why we can handle the inside. That's why the person who is working on this, the radiochemist, they cannot get the unwanted radiation from that sample. We found out that when we use the specific activity of 0.5 megabecquerel per microgram, it required it gives the quantitative radio labeling yield like 92% recovery yield without any post purification. Like if you use the specific activity, like specific activity is nothing but when you use the reaction, we calculate molar ratio. This is a kind of molar ratio to find out the get the maximum product yield. As I said earlier, like again we are handling with harsh condition like sodium carbonate and kipase, and we are bringing pH like when it's acidic, we are bringing into the neutral pH condition. It also affect the protein binding. There is a chance for protein binding affinity and chance for the protein degradation. That's why we did further QC studies to confirm the protein samples is intact and it has the sufficient affinity, doesn't change the affinity of the protein sample. For this ligand assay, we used a different molar concentration of radio labeled pharmaceuticals and fixed volume of cells. Found out the KD values. It's like when we did the KD value, we found that in the cold sample it was 13, in the hot sample it was 14. Like it's clearly indicates that the protein binding affinities does not affect. Like during this reaction, the antibody itself, it may generate some antigen. In order to check that, we did the immunoreactivity assay that is called LINMO assay. For this assay, we fix the radio label concentration. We play with the different volume of different concentration of cell volume and found that the immunoreactive fraction 73%. Like if tracer is showing immunoreactive fraction more than 65 is acceptable for the radiopharmaceutical process. That's why we accepted this value for the further proceeding. When we do the assay, this is the specialized instrument. It counts the based on the gamma energy. It counts binding affinity of the samples. Like based on this in vitro assay, we further decided to do the in vivo studies. For the in vivo studies, we developed a xenograph model. As I said, like we have to. Like we like to generate the EGFR xenograph model. For that purpose, we taken 3 xenograph model. One model with the high expression of EGFR, another model with the low amount of EGFR, another one is completely no EGF1R. Like DLD1 is high expression, MB46 is low expression, like MDA MB431 it has no expression. Like this is anti-EGF1R. If it's EGF1 receptor is there, it may go and bind to the target. That's why we can see the uptake in the tumor. For developing these xenografts, we purchase the nude mice and grow the cancer cells in the petri dish. Once for these studies, we inoculated the 10 million cells with PBS on this right flank of thigh. After 1 week, we able to see there was a tumor growth. Once if it reached the maximum size of 200 millimeter to 500 millimeters cube, we inject our tracer, and after some time we do the euthanization of the mice and collect the organs. With the help of this instrument, we measure the activity, how much present on the tissues. Like based on that, This is clearly indicate that the tracer uptake, like this tracer is entered the blood circulation, and also in the early time point we can see the higher uptake in the blood, but after late time point, like around after 7 days, there was a less amount of concentration in the blood, but significantly it's taken by tumor. Like this is the high expression, it has significantly uptake in a tumor. Again, it's clearly indicate that how this tracer is getting metabolized on the body of the mice. Like it's clearly indicate that the tracer is uptake in the liver, some other all the organs, but there was a significant uptake in the tumor. That's why we plan to do on the imaging studies. For the imaging studies, we have in our facility PET CT scanner. Like we can do PET study as well as SPECT study in this the same instrument, changing some gallimeter. Like for this purpose, we adopted the acquisition parameters and some reconstruction parameter. We injected the tracer and did the imaging studies on the different time point on the same group. Each group we had the 4 mice. Like this is longitudinal time points. Once if we injected the tracer, the same set of mice, and we took the images on the 4 different time points, and we processed the image based on the recommendation. When we process these images, it clearly highlight that the tracer uptake in the whole body of the mice. Like as I said in the biodistribution studies, it was less. Gradually after 7 days, the uptake was more on the tumor. There was it's wherever it's uptaken in some other organs, it was clearing out the body, but only it's selectively accumulating in the tumor. This is the higher expression EGF1 receptor. This is the lowest one. This is called PET-CT fused image. This is another way of presenting images, that PET-CT maximum intensity projection images. Like it clearly indicates that there was a selective tumor uptake. See, this is the DLD1. The DLD1 is like when we inject, like when we see 24 to 168 hours, the uptake was rising everyday basis. Like it's clearly indicates that the tracer is selectively accumulated on the tumor. Like with the help of the tracer, we can identify the EGF1R patient. Like any person is suffering from EGF1R tumor. Like as I said, EGF1R tumor is present in colorectal cancer or prostate cancer or some adrenal cancer. We can classify the tumor and personalize the treatment. Like based on this interesting observation, we decided to take this tracer for the further we did the preclinical studies. We want to do the clinical studies. That's why if we want to proceed that for the clinical studies, we have to submit some data for the regulatory agency. That's why we decided to do some acute toxicity as well as delayed toxicity studies. Acute toxicity study mean we inject the tracer after after 2 days, we collect the organs and bloods, and we examine how the uptake is. If the tracer is causing any toxicity to the any tissues or blood component. And delayed mean we inject the tracer after 14 days, we collect all these blood parameters as well as clinical chemistry parameters as well as histopathology parameters. And when we did the intense analysis, we found that there was no significant toxicity or changes in the blood chemistry. It was good sign. That's why we decided to do the dosimetry studies. Like suppose if you want to do this studies in a human, they want to know the projected radiation exposure level. That's why we did the mice studies again, but non-tumor. This mice is non-tumor mice, just a nude mice, Balsi card mice, but we did the intensive BioD, like from the 1 hour, 4 hour, 20, like 14 hour, like various, like more than 9 points, we collected the organs. Based on that values, we generated the human dosimetry data, like with the help of some software program. If you feed this all these different time point value, it projected the human exposure dose. It indicates that these are comparable compared to the known tracer in the clinical, but there was a significant, even though we see some significant difference in a female population and a male population, especially in the female, they got the low radiation exposure compared to male. Again, in red marrow cells and osteonic cells, means bone marrow, there was a least exposure in a female group. It's good signs that if the people is like the clinical, it clearly indicates that if you use this tracer for the female population, they are a chance for the unwanted radiation exposure to these organs are less compared to the male population. We want to submit this application for this clinical trial to the Health Canada. That's why they asked to do some QC studies to as per the requirements. That's why we performed some QC studies, like as a pharmaceutical formulation, as we do pH testing and visual appearance and some bubble point assay and some radiochemical purity assay, some bacterial endotoxin. All are in all the values are acceptable within range of the clinical grade formulation. That's why our application is accepted. Now we start hiring the patient for the clinical trial. The summary of my research work is that we able to develop a zirconium-89 in our cyclotron, like everywhere, like nowadays in most of the labs, like in Canada and states, they have own cyclotron. But if you have the cyclotron, we have to optimize the protection method. Each differs each cyclotron to cyclotron. That's why we have to develop the method to produce the isotopes and able to purify those things for the clinical and preclinical application. We able to produce the clinical grade of we able to produce the clinical grade of zirconium-89 labeled nimotuzumab. We applied for the health requirement. Again, when comparing with the FDG, this is like if you want to scan cancer patient with the FDG, we have to inject around 120 megabecquerel to 150 megabecquerel of FDG. But in case of this nimotuzumab 89, we can give only 37 megabecquerel. Like this is way less dose, and the patient may need means they can go for 6 or 8 different doses. But if you give the FDG, within 3 doses, they may reach the annual dose limit. They cannot go for any more PET scans for their treatment purpose. This is the one more advantage. Again, we can use this tracer for the image-guided application as well. Recently, we published this research work in OncoTarget, the impact factor of around 5, and submitted for the clinical trial application. The application is accepted. My supervisor is hiring the like they are doing some paperwork. Soon we going to start the phase 1 clinical trial on this tracer. First, finally, I would like to thank my Professor Humphrey Fange and my group Vijay Gaja and all the team members. Like this is, as you know, this radiochemistry work, if you want to publish in a good journal or if you want to do a molecule, we need lot of hands. All the people are trained and by Professor Humphrey Fange. Like again, the Fedrook Center is provided the facility for this research work. We got that, I think my supervisor and this co-supervisor got some million grants from this Western Economic Diversification of Canada. Like as I said, we in our like if you want to do the radiochemist or medical imaging position, like in our group there was opening. Again, my supervisor willing to take a master student and PhD student for this research work. Um, if you are interested in, if you have the background of chemistry or pharmacy and pharmaceutical science, this is well, like nuclear medicine is a growing research field in all over the world. Like in new like near future, like nuclear medicine is the key for the personalized therapy. Like it's exciting area. If you want to train, like free to contact my supervisor or free to contact me. I can direct your CV to my supervisor and some other researcher in our facility. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your attention, and I would like to thank AKCB management and Professor N. Venkatesan and Professor Amburaj for kind invitation. If you have any question, please feel to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions? Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
So the radiopharmaceuticals, it's very new to Indian pharmaceutical, I think so, sir, because mostly
Yeah, only few places they are doing the radiochemistry work. One in Trivandrum, like some probate sector. Another one in AIMS. Like nowadays, like they are. I think I recently heard from Tamil news that Chief Minister Edapadi is installed some PET CT scan in somewhere in the Chennai hospital, but it's growing.
yes, sir. Sir, what are the opportunities in this radiopharmaceuticals, sir? Because it's very new. Some of the students, those who are in the final year or Form D, if they want to pursue the career, so can you share the things?
Yeah, there are opportunity for the masters. Like if they have bachelor degree, like as I know, like if they have Form D, they can come for here for the master studies. For bachelor in pharmacy also they can eligible over here. They can do it master degree over here. Like master degree is a 2-year program, and they can roll over for the PhD. If they do master and PhD, there will be total year of 5 years. Like once if you have submitted thesis, you are called as a radio chemist. Like here, the radio chemist has good opportunity in the hospitals, and there are a lot of small companies booming around in Canada and Australia and states. There are a lot of scope, but one thing they have to keep in mind, like if they want to do this kind of work, they are considered as a nuclear energy worker. Like nuclear energy worker mean, like we have some dose limit. Like a normal human being, they exposure like everywhere the radiation is there. Like if you travel in aeroplane, if you travel on the sea, if you go to the Trivandrum or Kerala, there are some radiation field. There are higher radiation. Like annual limit is 1 millisievert. If you are nuclear energy worker, you are going to expose yourself more than 5 millisievert to 50 millisievert. Like there is no solid evidence says that the person who is working long term in the radio isotope or radio pharmaceutical, they will suffer by radiation. There is no literature, but you have to keep in mind you are considered as a nuclear energy worker. I mean, they are like you are very equivalent to the people who work in a like atomic power plant.
Okay, sir. Sir, as you told, SPECT and PET mostly used for radio imaging. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Spectrum PET mostly used for radio imaging, sir. But at the introduction here told it can be used for target therapy also. So how it is possible, sir?
Yeah, like PET and target main, as I said, we are comparing, like we cannot use SPET metals alone for the SPET tracer. Like there are like only technetium 99M per technet is used for the scanning the thyroid. That is, yeah, like for the thyroid case, technetium 99 has high affinity. Again, thyroid iodine 131, it's high affinity to the thyroid glands. It may go and bind the particular organ. That's why you can see very selective uptake. Other than most of the case, we use the biomolecules to label this radioisotope. With the help of the biomolecules, it reaches the particular target. That's why we are minimizing the unwanted side effect.
Okay, sir. Generally, in the PET spectra, mostly it's a tracer technique. So we are going to be inject the radiolabeled material into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
And based on the perfusion rate, we are going to be look after the imaging, sir.
Yeah.
So how long it will stay, sir? What is the half life of the material?
Like it depends upon two half-life. One half-life from your radio material, another one half-life from your biomolecules. That's why for these studies, like as I said, zirconium 89, the half-life is 3.27 days. We used nimotuzumab, that is a IgG component. It has molecular weight of 150 kilodalton. It has half-life of 3 to 5 days. That's why both component has half-life of 3 to 5 days. It depends upon the amount as well as the half-life. Like one half-life means if you inject 30 megabecquerel or if it's say 50 megabecquerel, after one half-life you able to see 25 megabecquerel, it's still on your body. Like after you can go for up to 3 half-life. Like depends upon your PET and SPECT cancer sensitivity. You can image the patient from day 4, like 4 hours to more than 12 days.
Yes, sir. In that case, whenever the patient is going out, he is going to be emit the gamma rays. Either it is going to be cause any damage to the patient attenders or nearby physician.
Yeah, of course. That's the reason. Like if the for the nuclear medicine division, they follow the some protocol. Like they cannot allow the patient to expose in the common public. They restrict the patient for the international and the national level of traveling and high assembly of like high crowded area.
Okay, sir. And one more thing also, like whenever because we are going to inject through the blood, it is going to be eliminated through the kidney. So if the patients with the complication of kidney dysfunctions, so there is any special precaution you're going to follow when you are injecting any radioisotope?
Yeah, it's excellent question. Actually, for this case, we have some amino acid formulation. Like if you like some of tracer, like especially for indium labeled one, the most of them excrete, like depends upon your biomolecules, depends upon your radio metals, like FDG, and those components will excrete through the kidney. In order to get unwanted dose of those, or less especially kidney, they administered some amino acid formulation. If the amino acid prevent the uptake on the kidney, it will excrete through, even if it excretes the higher rate, higher glomerular filtration rate, like it protect your kidneys. They do some co-administration of some amino acid formulation.
Okay, sir. And one more question also there. If there is due to the radiation, there is a possibility of any internal organ damage, sir, like for heart or liver.
See, as I said, the most of the like if you like most of the tracer we are making for the target specific, even though it may take some organs, but the main ultimate aim for this thing, as I said, for the actinium-225, the PSMA treatment, see the patient was clinical stage 4, like without treatment, he may die within 3 to 6 months, right? After 3 doses of treatment, there is no tumor. There may be some there will be some adverse effect, but it may be not that much level. Like as we know, all the pharmaceutical formulation has some adverse effect. We cannot overcome.
Okay, sir.
But it may increase the life cycle.
Okay, sir. You have shown some animal studies pictures, images in the presentation. What kind of mice you have used, sir?
We use the nude mice, immunocompetent mice. That's why when we inject the tumor model, it doesn't reject. Like if you inject the normal mice or normal biopsy mice with the hard mice or immunocompetent mice, it will reject your tumor cell inoculation. Like if you inject the tumor cells, we cannot see any tumor. That's why we used some nude mice, like some strain like CD028. This is immunocompetent mice. That's why the mice will do not reject the tumors.
Okay, sir. And that mice,
yeah, we can see the tumor.
Yeah, mice won't have any hair, or it's cleanly shaved, or it doesn't.
No,
hair fall due to
mice, no. That the mice is nude mice. This is a mice with no hair.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
We like here. It has some special condition, like we like in our back in our animal facility, we used to keep in normal BSE, but this is the mice, we kept it in a special condition, like some level, like level 2 condition for the BSE case, biosafety case.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And one more question regarding SPEC and PET. So can you able to compare these two different diagnostic methods, which is used commercially and which is used which is cost efficient, sir, and these two categories?
No, actually we cannot like most of the, like when we want to develop any tracer, we like suppose if you use the same biomolecule, like in our case, we used nimetuzumab, we labeled with the zirconium-89, that is the PET tracer. Like we labeled with the indium 1111, like that is the SPEC tracer. We did the same animal studies. But even though we selected the zirconium-89 for the clinical studies, because these whenever you introduce the radiometals, whenever you introduce bifunctional chelator, the biomolecules, each will have different pharmacokinetic behavior. SPECT is universally acceptable because of the resolution purpose. Again, we cannot inject the patient on the two tracer, like PET tracer and SPECT tracer. We can inject both tracer if you have both have different biomolecules. If we have it in the same biomolecules, for the quantification purpose, it's hard to measure because each gamma protons has own energy. But in that case, we can use the SPECT. But PET case, whatever the gamma proton emits, it interacts with the electron, it emits again 2 gamma botons. The 2 gamma gamma electrons only measured by SPECT. In that case, it may give we cannot measure accurately on the tumor uptake.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. So, our final question.
Yeah.
So, what is your thoughts or suggestions for future researchers in the field of radiopharmacy, sir?
Like as I said, that radiopharmacy, nuclear medicine is growing field. Like they may, like in India, back India, they may also set up some cyclotron and the cyclotron facility. Everywhere in the world, the nuclear medicine laboratory, nuclear medicine research is going very intensive research. Like it has some unique property. Like if you are the person has interested in some chemistry, they can serve this radiochemistry field very excellent.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Students, any other questions?
Okay, Anbu sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Salaman sir, Raja
Yeah.
Salaman sir. Thank you, sir. We had a wonderful, informative presentation, sir.
Thank you very much for having me, sir.
Yeah. On behalf of our management of Kalasalingam Group of Institution, hereby I express my wholehearted thanks to you and your esteemed university for giving us such a informative uh, uh, and wonderful presentation and
Thank you, sir.
interaction. I hope this interaction will motivate the student and encourage them in active learning in forthcoming days. In future, also have a good collaboration for the development of our students' careers, sir.
Okay, sir. Great, sir. Nice to. It's.
Thank you.
Very humble to have me on the our talk, sir.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
my
Thank you,
honor.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Another one request, sir. Whenever would like to plan to Tamil Nadu, sir, please let me know, sir. Definitely, we will invite our campus, sir, institution.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. I plan to visit my SPCB also. I will plan to visit there too,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Great.
another one more help, sir. Request, sir. Kindly
Yeah.
let us any of your colleague friends who are able to support, guide, and help in the development of our pharmacy students from
Yes, sir.
rural Tamil Nadu.
I will ask my
If
some of my colleague and contact you, sir.
refer, sir, kindly refer, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Great,
For
sir.
betterment
Thank you,
of
sir.
our students' careers.
Okay, sir. Great, sir.
This occasion, we are expecting your cooperation and support the development and betterment of our students' career in future.
Great, sir. Great, sir. I will try to make it.
Thank you, sir. Take care,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Thanks for your wonderful support, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for
Take
having
care.
me.
Take
Thank
care.
you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.